In my last video, I showed you how I shot this simple but pretty funky product B-roll. You guys really like that sequence, but as a lot of you probably know, shooting is just half the work, or even less, because a simple B-roll like this only comes to life after editing. That's where you can unleash your creativity and add all that funkiness. And that's probably also why some of you asked for an editing breakdown, so that's what I'm gonna do today in this video. I'm using Davinci Resolve, but all the techniques that I used you can do in Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, and a bunch of other editing programs. I'll also try to cover as much as possible without making this an hour-long video, so if I forget something or if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments, okay? Let's do it. So, like I said, this is a simple B-roll and editing is where it all happens. Of course, you need good shots and a variation of shots, but editing is where the magic happens. The blue tracks are all video and the green tracks are sound. The bottom two tracks are sound effects. For this B-roll, I just used a few whoosh sounds. And already a good tip here, you can see that this file is called Whoosh Fireball. Now, if you're looking for sound effects and you see Fireball, you might think, I'm editing a camera B-roll, why would I need a fireball sound? I'll just skip it. But the thing is, when you take that fireball whoosh out of its context, it's not necessarily a fireball anymore. It's just a whoosh sound, and no one will notice that it's a fireball or that it's weird or something like that. So when you're hunting for sound effects, think out of the box, don't go for just the obvious choices. Next we have the music track. I got this one from Epidemic Sound, also the sound effects by the way, and you can check them out in the description. Then we have the track with all the video clips, and finally on top of all that an adjustment layer with one of my LUTs for the color grade. Just a simple color grade. You can also find my LUTs in the description. And that's it. The sound effects in this video, the whooshes, are just there to emphasize speed ramps or transitions. The music track is actually the most important one because that's the guide for your cuts. I always start by dropping all the clips on the timeline and then I try to find a good flow. That means make a rough cut to the music and make sure that each cut, each transition to the next clip works. For example, for this sequence, I try to avoid having two clips with the same camera movement next to each other. So first clip is a pullback, the second clip a pan to the left, another pullback, but never two pullback clips next to each other, for example. Now, that's for this sequence. For another project, maybe I do want the same movements next to each other. It's all about feeling the music and making your footage merge with that music, so that the visual and sound becomes one experience, you know what I mean? And this is the most difficult part because you can't read books on this. There's no tutorial on how to feel music and cut video to music, how to make the footage flow with the music. It's something you can only learn by doing. Now, of course, the beat of the music will help, and that's where I usually start to make cuts. And then it's just like a puzzle. When you're done, you play it from the start and you try to identify where it doesn't feel right. It's not an exact science, it's all about feeling the music. Then you start cutting again, remove some clips, maybe switch some clips, and that's the process that you have to do over and over again, until it sounds right. And every time you go over it again, you fine-tune a little bit more. And also, if I would edit this footage to another song, the cuts would look totally different. Now, let me play that sequence again and listen to the music, especially the part with the boom boom ta. So I ended up with my cuts exactly on the beat. You can see every boom boom ta here. So boom boom ta, boom boom ta, boom boom ta. But that doesn't mean that this will always work. Sometimes cutting in between beats will sound better, or slow cuts, faster cuts. But a good way to start learning is cutting on the beat and trying to find a good flow. And when you get the hang of that, you can start adding some speed ramps and in-camera transitions, for example. So the first clip, I started with a speed ramp so that it looks like the camera comes out of the lens. This part of the clip goes fast and then here slow again. The next clip, nothing special going on, but then the third clip, this is actually one clip, but I cut out a part so that it makes this jump on the beat. Then another clip with a speed ramp, and just like the first speed ramp, I added a whoosh sound. Here again, nothing going on. Then this is a wide shot that I cut to a close shot. I didn't zoom in Davinci, these are two different shots. And here again, I cut out a part to make a jump on the beat. Nothing going on for this one. Another part cut out to make the jump on the beat. And then an in-camera transition. So the first shot is a push-in shot into the lens, and then the second shot a pull back out of the lens mount. The only thing I did here to tie these clips together to make that transition is add a speed ramp at the end of the first and beginning of the second clip. And I also added a cross dissolve to smoothen it out. So slow, speed ramp, slow. And then finally just a few different shots cut on the beat. Boom boom ta. And we end of course with the hero shot of the camera. This is where you can add some text or callouts. And that's about it. I hope everything is more or less clear now, but like I've said many times before, the best way to learn all this is by doing. So pick up your camera, go shoot something and start editing. Davinci Resolve is free, so there's no reason not to download it. Thank you so much for watching. Come say hello on Instagram sometime and see you in the next one.